Help support the Twitchiest community by downloading Guardian Tales, a top-down action RPG, by using the link in the description down below. If we reach 125 downloads and tutorial completions, we'll start another $500 giveaway. At 175 tutorials, we'll make that a $1,000 giveaway. And if we make it to 225 total downloads and tutorial completions, we'll do a full tier list for you guys. So go ahead and download it and start playing today. Hello everybody, we are here with your Vamana solo lane guide. So Vamana right now is definitely not the meta. You haven't seen a Vamana in a long time because he doesn't really have a home. Some of his build kind of prefers the more jungly aspects, but what we are going to do today is we're going to make the best of Vamana, and we're going to do something that you're going to start seeing in some of your games. Which is this acquisition of a Rangdas mask as a starting item. So we're going to grab the blink like usual. We're going to get actually 4 health potions and a hog to help ourselves with the blue clear. But you actually are probably going to start seeing this around in your games. Not necessarily every game, but the Rangdas mask start and not necessarily being finished is something that is starting to happen because it gives 40 physical power right at the start of the game and or 70 magical power if you are a magical character, which helps out a lot with early game pressure and clear. And for somebody like Vamana, who isn't even necessarily a good bluestone progger, this kind of gives you a secondary option, and it is going to allow us to get a later game Warrior's Axe, so we can turn that kind of into a hero's axe and actually utilize some of the shielding effects for our teammates, so we can actually, you know, help the team in the late game as Vamana. So at level 1, we are going to start with our 3 on Vamana. This is our main lane clear ability. As you can see, just kind of throwing it out into the world. And I'm going to try to get some poke onto the Camazots. If you're going to go the Rangdas start, you do want to try to get that poke. But you can see that Vamana's clear isn't that good. So even with this bonus power, we are going to struggle a little bit. And I'm going to make sure to get my 2 at level 3. Gotta try to use everything that I can just to try to clear this wave. Camazots is 2 is down, and once I clear these archers, I am gonna go actually a little bit aggressive on this. I'm gonna try to knock him up, hit him with a little combo, and our Rangdas mask will be able to grab us that kill. So in the solo lane, you don't necessarily want to go in on your opponent while the archers are up. So I throw out my 3 in order to bring down the archers right there. I know that his 2 is on cooldown for a couple more seconds because I'm keeping a little bit of a mental note in my head. And then I can go aggressive on him and utilize that early power that I'm getting from that mask. Now I'm going to back up. I'm going to go get myself my tier 2 boots. And I'm also going to get myself that chalice of healing at this point. So that way I do have that chalice for the sustain in the lane. Now for our leveling order on Vamana, you actually do have an option here. I prefer to level up the 2 to max first because I like the lowered CDR. You can just go the more farm leveling order, which would be to level up the 3 to max first. That's fine. But I prefer to actually just use both abilities on the wave. You've got the blue buff. It's not that big of a deal. But the 2 will be more useful in general in PvP just because it is that boom, instant cone comes right on out. A lot more usable in PvP situations. The 3 does have that attack speed, movement speed slow, but that actually does not increase for leveling up the ability. The only thing that goes up is the damage, which is why on Vamana, I tend to level him 4, 2, 3, 1. Just gonna try to use my 2 right there for a little poke. Just try to stay out of this Camazots' range, and we're gonna see if we can go maybe force him to use his ultimate or a jump away or something. Just try to get a little bit aggressive on him right now. We got that first blood pressure. And so now we're just gonna try to bully him out a little bit away from his XP. That way we can clear a little bit faster than him, make sure we're getting the scorpions and the totems. A little bit of bonus XP goes a long way over in the solo lane. So we actually got an Erlang coming in on us. That's fine. I'll be able to dash right and out of that one. No problemo. They are gonna get the scorpion, but that is fine. So kind of what I was saying earlier, the reason why Vamana right now isn't in such a good spot is that he doesn't really love the kind of solo laner items that are more meta right now. He almost likes a more jungle style build, but he's not really a good jungler. His cooldowns are a bit thick to be clearing the jungle camps efficiently. Not only that, he doesn't have the best ganks in the world, so he's just in kind of an awkward spot. We are gonna build him more as a solo laner, so we're not gonna be embracing like a Golden Blade, Hasten Fatalis style build that maybe you would see from him in the jungle. But we are going to try to make a late game Heroes Axe nice for our team. So on the Warriors Axe, on the upgrades, you've got the Sundering Axe and the Heroes Axe. Heroes Axe is coming more and more into the meta. When an ally god within 55 units of you is hit by a crowd control effect, they gain a shield equal to 15% of your maximum HP. So we're going to be getting ourselves a nice bit of HP, and we're going to be trying to stick near our boys and give them some shields. So whether we're peeling in the backline with our one, whether we're full diving in our ultimate, which is also going to give us some of that annoying can't really peel action, we can also be providing some assistance to our team. So I'm gonna back up right now and of course get myself a reinforced Greaves. You basically only see the reinforced Greaves over in the solo right now. Take a quick look at their comp. They do have some knockups, and in general, Stone of Gaia is just an advisable item to get in the solo lane. They do have the knockback there with the Chiron. They also have it with the Erlang, which I've already been ganked by twice, actually. So we are going to get that Stone of Gaia. You do not have to get Stone of Gaia, but at any time in the solo lane, if you're like, I don't really know what item I want to build right here, Stone of Gaia is always going to be a good option. MP5 and HP5 is always strong. 400 HP is also going to pair really, really well with our late game Heroes Axe for our team, providing out those shields. So it's also just going to synergize with where we want this build to go. So for Vamana in the laning phase, what you're most worried about is just going to be generically the meta. Solo laners, Camazotz is probably a pretty decent situation for me. The thing that's going to scare you most is whether you have to go against a Kakale, an Arthur, a Wukong, whatever. Those more meta solo laners are going to give you some more trouble. Just because they are just straight up better than you right now. Their kits are just better at actually being solo laners. So that is what you are the most concerned about. But with an off-meta pick, slightly like Camazotz, it opens up a little bit more wiggle room for a more off-meta pick like a Vamana. So when would you be looking to pick a Vamana? You would be looking to pick Vamana in a situation where the enemy team, gonna have to use my ultimate right here to kind of self-peel myself away from this Erlang, but because I've got a lot of stacks now on my passive meter, I'm gonna be able to just turn around and go in on this one. They're gonna have to force a Capriol, a Camazotz, all sorts of stuff in there. Plus we're gonna get the Erlang. They kept building up my passive. Vamana, not necessarily the easiest person to gank after he gets that level 5. So you'd be looking to pick Vamana in a situation where they have a bunch of characters that do not have any getaway abilities. So we're talking about gods like an Artemis, who maybe have CC immunity or something in their kit, but they don't have any way to just like run away from you. Vamana basically thrives when he can go into his ultimate and then just stomp, 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 and you can't get away from him. So you really don't want to be going against gods, particularly with leaps. A roll or something like a Rama roll you can usually deal with. So little dashes are not that problematic, but the leaps are kind of the bane of your existence. So you don't want to go against a team heavy with leaps. This team right here, not the best for me. I'd be looking particularly at the hunter and mid roll for those gods to collapse on. Persephone is going to be hard to do. She does have a leap. Chiron may not have a leap, but he has a really long dash. Plus, he has the ability to cleanse himself. So overall, not the two easiest targets for me to just kind of walk at in the backline. But what we will be doing to help us walk at targets in the backline is we will be getting ourselves a Frostbound Hammer, which is going to pair, of course, really well with our Hero's Axe because it's going to give us a bunch of HP, but it's also going to slow down our opponents to try to help us get in range of our autos within our ultimate. We're not going to go the hasten. The hasten is more damage oriented, and it's not going to help us at all in that late game scenario once we have kind of that full build online. So I've been out clearing the Camazot, so I'm going to go for a little bit of proxy farm right there. I've got an Erlang on me. I'm not going to be able to kill him by myself. So I kind of don't want to get distracted by him. He's just going to keep running at me. That's fine. If he's going to keep going on this, I'm going to be able to ulti a little bit late right here. You can see that ultimate passive bar kind of letting me know how much longer I have on it. And I'm going to regen all the way back up to full. Don't think I'm probably going to be able to kill the Erlang, but I do want to have now presence over by their blue buff because they already went ahead and took my blue buff. Erlang dashed right back in on this, so I should be able to utilize this newfound blue buff to go ahead and give that a kill. And now I really need to get myself out of here because I can back up, get myself that full Stone of Gaia before I get myself into any more HP items like a Frostbound Hammer. I am going to get myself a Mystical Mail. I am against two physical damage characters, right? An Erlang jungle and a Camazot solo. So most of the damage that I am dealing with right now is physical damage. So I'm going to grab myself that Mystical Mail, HP. Once again, you can see the theme in the build. Plus, we're going to get some of that physical defenses and a little bit of bonus damage around us. Another thing with Vamana that you should know is you would like to pick him into very physical heavy comps. If a team is running 4 physical damage characters, that is probably the primo best time to have Vamana, because Vamana really wants to build physical defense items. The reason why he wants to build physical defense items is because of his passive, which converts 20% of physical protections into physical power. So he gets more damage just by building defenses if you do go that physical defense route. So big magical damage teams, not going to be very efficient for Vamana. You don't want to have to be building the Anchiles of the world. You want to be able to build void shields and mystical mails or a stone cutting sword, right? Those are the types of items that you want to be able to buy on Vamana in order to maximize that efficacy. As far as your magical defense goes, you don't want to have a lot of it. Most of your magical defense is basically going to be coming from that Hero's Axe, but also a CAD shield. CAD shield will give you, that physical and magical defense. Plus, you get the bonus regen. So they're going to be building anti-heal against you on Vamana. And CAD shield is basically the anti-heal, where you're basically making your healing a little bit more efficient. So they've got to build even more anti-heal in order to deal with you. For our standard combination, on Vamana. I actually need to get myself over to my team. I need to clear this really quick. They're fighting pretty deep right now, but it looks like they're pretty large as well. I'm gonna let them know that an enemy is coming as I start to rotate. Your standard combination of Vamana is gonna be starting off usually with your dash. You are gonna dash into somebody to get that knock-up. After you dash them, you're gonna throw your 3. Now you cannot miss the 3 because they are knocked up. That 3 is gonna slow them. You're gonna factor in a couple of auto attacks in between, and you're also going to get yourself a 2 in there. So that's gonna be dash into them to knock them up. If you can hit them with a quick auto, do it. 3, auto, and then 2. And that is how you are traditionally going to bring yourself through that standard Vamana combo. Now that you have dashed yourself in and used all of your abilities, you're gonna use your ultimate after you've used all of your abilities. You cannot use any abilities, of course, in your Vamana ultimate, so you want to go ahead, burn through all those abilities, get them on cooldown, because by the time you come back out of your ultimate, all of your abilities are going to be back up anyway. For my second active, I'm going to grab myself a Thorns, and I'm also going to rank it up early. Big Baby is unpeelable, right? When you're in that ultimate stance, you're CC immune, you're walking through player-made walls, you are unpeelable for the entire duration. If they hit you, your ultimate is gonna last longer. So what we basically want to do is we want to force the enemy into a situation where they have no idea whether they should be trying to burn us down with like a curse on anti-heal or whether they should be leaving us alone entirely. So we're going to grab that Thorns, because one thing that we can do is pop that Thorns, then go into our ultimate. And then they have to decide whether they want to let the Vamana free beat on the backline for the entire duration of the ulti, or if they're going to try to burn you down with like a curse donk sunder situation, but then you've got the Thorns popped, and so now they're taking more damage for getting damage. All sorts of stuff like that. It can be a very hard decision to try and decide whether or not you're going to burn down the Vamana or let him burn down your backline carry, because you cannot peel him at all. It's really Vamana's biggest strength is that he can't be peeled in his ultimate, which is of course why you want to go against carries that traditionally don't have good getaway skills, because then you can actually focus them down and kill them. If you ulti and then they jump over a wall, well, congrats, that is the end of that engagement. So I've already got his tier 1 tower down, so I can't really proxy farm anymore unless I want to go over to his Phoenix, but I am going to try to clear his waves as fast as possible and then rotate out into the jungle. This is basically the most important thing you do as a solo laner on the consistent all laning phase long, is you run into the enemy jungle and you take these camps as much as you can on cooldown, because that's going to take a lot of XP away from the enemy jungler. The farther you can put behind the jungler, obviously, the better for your team. So you're kind of on jungle stealing duty. So I've got an Erlang back here. I'm going to pop my Thorns right now. I know that his dash isn't up, and I'm just going to kind of waddle at him. His dash just comes back up. Looks like we got the Lulu over here as well. Capriol's going to go down. That is fine, and I need to be a little bit more careful. My ultimate is running out, so I need to start to back it up a little bit. Going to slow down Persephone with my 3 right here. I'm actually going to dash through the Chiron, try to get out towards this duo lane side, and I'm going to call for the Gold Fury, because I can go over here, tank the Gold Fury with my Stone of Gaia, and have our Medusa help us burn it down. Now, as far as the Rangdas mask goes, we haven't talked about it a ton yet. You get it a lot for that early damage and early pressure. You do not have to finish this item. On some gods, you will probably be able to finish this item and actually utilize it in your kit. For Vamana, this is strictly for the early game pressure, because we are not a great utilizer of some of the other starters, and we do want the Warrior's Axe. As a general rule right now, this is still very, very new, but what I'm kind of looking at with this item is trying to find my CAD shield, first of all, so I can get a little bit of magical defenses online. What I'm looking with on this item is the gods that you would actually really prefer to go Warrior's Axe on, but you can't go Warrior's Axe on because you're just gonna lose the early game, right? You're straight up just gonna lose the early game. I would go ahead and grab the fighter's mask so you can get the pressure early, and then that way you can actually wait until the later stages of the game until you can fully finish your warrior's axe and bring it right into that hero's axe. Going to give you great stats. It's going to be wonderful. Even the Sundering axe is a great item if you're going to go a very heavy protection build, something that probably involves stuff like Pridvin. You can always go that, but I am finding that the hero's axe might actually be secretly one of the better items in the game that's just underutilized. We're seeing more and more solo laners start to pick it up, especially with all the HP that solo laners get in their builds. You can see that this build is still very normal, but pretty much all my items are going to be giving me a nice amount of HP, which is just going to make that shield that my squishies are getting absolutely massive. Give a little jump there for my Camazotz. Head us on over into the jungle. Gonna get a deep ward here over by the speed. That wave should be over near the tier 2 tower, so I'm gonna come back over here, grab this wave, and at this point I'm basically just farming for level 20. The second I get level 20, I'm gonna switch over and I am going to finish that hero's ass. Erlang dashes down. I'm just gonna be able to chase him. I get to keep him in combat with my mystical mail. No fear of him trying to blink out or anything. Bada bing, bada boom, and now I'm just gonna walk right back over to the tier 2 tower. If you want to know where the wave is going to be, remember that the waves are mirrored. So when I'm like, I know the wave is at the tier 2 tower, it's because I'm looking at where our own wave is. I can see that our own wave is at the tier 2 tower in solo, which means that the wave for their solo lane is also at the tower. Just a quick little in general tip right there. Gonna dash myself right out of this one. Gotta be a little bit careful with the Chiron. He actually might try to continue this on me, but he's not going to. Gonna farm the enemy jungle while I'm out of here. Keep working on that level 20 as fast as my little Vamana legs will take me. As far as God pairings with Vamana go, there's not really any good pairings with Vamana, and that's because he's not much of a team player. He's really just kind of like a solo god, in that he doesn't synergize well with anybody else. He's not going to provide setup. He doesn't really provide peel. All he does is apply pressure onto the backline, which he can do at any given time. He doesn't really need any assistance in doing his job. All you're going to be doing is W king and left clicking at the same time on presumably whoever their hunter is going to be. I am going to look really quick at their build, see if they're planning on going into crit. It does not look like they are. Of course, spectral armor, always an option for you to combat that crit, although hunters are buying less crit nowadays, so you usually get to worry about it less. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up that shield into cat shield, so we can have even more bonus sustain from all of our itemization, like our Stone of Gaia and of course our ultimate. Have no fear, this Pyromancer will go down eventually. Keep in mind, the things that are going to counter you on Vamana is a lot of anti-heal. That's really the only thing that you're looking out for, anti-heal and Sunder. So anti-heal by itself is not a complete counter to Vamana. Some people seem to think that like you can just buy one anti-heal item and you're going to be fine against Vamana because you're going to counter his ultimate. That's not inherently how it works, because not only is Vamana's ultimate providing him the sustain through the heal, it's actually also providing him a shield. It does provide a shield on the tick as well as HP. So even more effective than anti-heal usually. Against the Vamana is going to be that Sunder. So I'm gonna walk right at Chiron. I'm gonna pop my Thorns and I'm gonna pop my ultimate. Now he has to decide, okay, do I sit around and attack this guy or do I just accidentally get myself killed because he's got himself his Thorns? He doesn't know what to do, and that's when Vamana gets to thrive, when the enemy starts to panic because like, okay, he cannot be peeled. I can't hit him because he's got a Thorns on him. I can't really fight back. I can't get away because I just used my getaway skill. Primo Vamana moment.
I'll attack.
So for the end of this build, we will be finishing up that CAD shield, selling the Rangdas mask, and filling in that slot with our Frostbound hammer. That Frostbound hammer, of course, gonna help us actually stick on these targets here in the ultra late stages of the game. Rank up my blink, grab us a sentry ward, call for that attack left lane, of course wanting to fight in the lane the farthest away from the fire giant. That way it provides pressure with those fire creeps as they spawn and shove down the lane, just in case the fire giant respawns and we need to go for it again. So now my job in these fights is to go ahead, W key right on at this Chiron. He seems to be the biggest person on their team, which means he is going to be my #1 priority. Gonna go ahead and blink and then dash right here. Just get a little bit of pressure on him. Try to see if we can't continue to W key at him. Looks like he's gonna get a little bit of peel from his fellow Capri. But look at that sustain, the Stone of Gaia heal. Woo-wee! See if we can't dash myself right at this Persephone. Hit him with the dash, follow with the 3, couple of auto attacks for that Frostbound proc, and we're gonna be able to get that kill. Bada bing, bada boom. Looks like the Erlang is going down. We're gonna be able to take the mid Phoenix, and we should be able to walk right at this Titan. Gonna use all of my abilities, of course. Before we switch over, pop my Thorns, use my ultimate, and then we can have a little baby on Titan action, guys. So Vamana's got to play a little bit funky because he is not exactly the meta right now, but you can still make him work in the right situations with the right build, guys. So really embracing that healing and HP, grabbing that Hero's Axe, which is going to provide absolutely massive shield for our team. I'm talking like 600 HP shields on a very, very low cooldown for our teammates, while being also annoying for their team because we get to just do this, W key. See, watch this. We're gonna W, left click. Okay, everybody the same time. W, left click. Those are the 2 most important buttons that you're gonna need on the Vamana, guys, and that is our Vamana solo lane. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.